Hey guys, how are you today? If you've already seen my video about the French Open's postponement, um, I'm just redoing it because it got deleted from my channel. So it's a repeat of the video I did yesterday because it's deleted. If you haven't seen it, you'll like this video. But like I said, I've made a video about the French Open postponement. I think I've deleted it by mistake. So for anyone who hasn't seen that, this video is for you. For people who saw my video yesterday, it's not for you because I'm just doing it again because I deleted it somehow. So that's basically it. So let's talk about this now. The 2021 French Open is postponed. So it was played from May 23rd through to June 6th, right? So now it's May 30 through to June 13th. So, and Wimbledon will not be changed. The grass court season is shortened by 1 week, so 2 weeks of grass court tournaments or 2 weeks of rest between the French Open and Wimbledon. So that's what's going to be happening for sure. So there's some questions, right? Like now there's an extra week of the clay court season. What are they going to do? Because if they do it how it stands at the moment, what we would do is we'd have Madrid and Rome. Then you'd have the tournaments the week before in Geneva and Lyon in France. And then there'd be a week with nothing. So they're not going to leave it like that. There's a whole lot of clay court tournaments in July that don't get this pre-French Open clay court season time. So so there's definitely going to be a tournament played. I can assure you of that. But if I had to guess, what they would do would be this, right? They would have a week now between Madrid and Rome. So keep Madrid where it is, delay Rome a week, and now you've got a week in the middle. And then after Rome, you have the usual schedule of Lyon and Geneva, but you delay them, so they're still a week before. So I'm thinking possibly the best thing to do would be push back Rome 1 week, have a week between Madrid and Rome, and then push back the Lyon and Geneva and have it the week before. But then now with this week between Madrid and Rome, you'll have to fill it with something else. So what makes sense is these clay court tournaments after Wimbledon in July that would rather be now. You'd want to move one of those. Most of them are only 250s, but the most important is Hamburg, which is a 500. So why not put that between Madrid and Rome? Now, there's a problem with the 2-week grass court season. It's been reduced and the clay court season's been extended a week. So originally, the 3 weeks of grass court seasons, one week, the last week was Eastbourne and Mallorca. The middle week was going to be the Queen's Club one, and Halle, and then the first week was going to be Stuttgart and a tournament in the Netherlands. So that's not going to be able to happen now. I've got 2 weeks, so they're going to prioritize like what makes sense, right? I think since Mallorca hasn't started yet, you don't have that. I think the first week you got to keep on schedule Halle and Queens that are the 500s, right? Then the week before Wimbledon, which will be the second of the 2 weeks, then because it's 250s, I think instead of having two, because there were 2 weeks of 250s with 4 of them, now there's 1 week, so you could have 3 of the 4 and just cancel Mallorca since it hasn't started anyway and it was meant to be its first year. Let that start next year. And then put Stuttgart, put the ones in Netherlands and put Eastbourne. So there you go. The week before Wimbledon, you get free 250s. And then the week after the French Open, the first of the 2 weeks, you get the two 500 Halle and Queens. So therefore, you get 5 of the 6 tournaments in Mallorca that's not started. You just hold that over and have its first year being next year. That's how I would change the schedule, but I'm not the one making the decision. Just thought I'd let you know what's best. So now, how is this going to affect things? What we know now, though, for sure, French Open's delayed by a week from May 23rd to May 30 to end on June the 13th, right? We know that's for sure. We know there's only 2 weeks for grass court tournaments between French Open and Wimbledon, right? Federer, I feel like, wanted to play some clay court tournaments, the French Open. Then have the week off after the French Open, the middle of the 3 weeks play in the Halle tournament, right? Then have the week off before Wimbledon. So now if he wants to play the French Open and Halle, he'll have to play 3 weeks in a row and get the week off. So that's a bit of a problem. Djokovic does well at the French Open, usually makes a semi-final or final. So what's going to happen with that? Like, you got 2 weeks. If you're going to be playing 4 or 6 weeks at Grand Slams, you'll need a rest for 2 weeks. But then you've had no time on grass courts. So you're going in there rested for 2 weeks, but you haven't even had much time to practice and play because you had to rest your body to do it. So that's tough. Same with Nadal. Nadal, who plays not just the French Open, he's there to the final always, but the whole clay court season, Nadal's playing almost every week. So he'll be exhausted. And if he wants to play 4 or 6 weeks at Grand Slams on the back of a long clay court season, he'll need to rest his body for 2 weeks, but then he has no time on grass. And when you're not naturally good on a surface, it doesn't come fast. Like, he could probably adapt to clay faster because it's natural, but you need time to work at something you're not naturally good at. So he won't have that time. And if he does, he won't be fresh enough to get through another Grand Slam. Usually the 3 weeks Nadal gets, he still doesn't even play a tournament. So he gets about a week and a half where he won't even practice. Then he practices for the other week and a half, plays 2 short best-of-3 matches just before Wimbledon starts. And that way he's got time to rest and time to practice on grass, get a couple of matches, he's ready to go. He won't get that now. He's choosing between having the time on grass, getting used to a new surface, or resting the body to go through another long Grand Slam. So Nadal's affected. Federer, as far as him wanting to play the French Open and get a few tournaments on clay, and then Halle and Wimbledon. Now it's almost impossible to do that. French Open's 2 weeks. Halle will be the week after. You have to play 3 weeks in a row at his age, possibly risk injury. And then Djokovic, like, he makes semi-final, final at the French Open. Same with Wimbledon. He wants both of it. So physically, that's hard on him. And all these guys are getting older. It probably favors the young guys. And it probably means the guys that win the French Open and make the final, their chances are reduced. The guys that go out early in the French Open can go to grass right away, play a grass court tournament. The younger guys are advantaged in this situation too. So really, I've explained now how all these guys are, how it's going to affect everyone. Will there be any difference on the French Open, like the courts, and how they will play, right? It's going to be faster. It's going to be more high bouncing than usual as we move more into summer. So last year you saw they slowed down the balls and got a different ball, and they played in autumn. So that reduced the speed of the clay court. Like sometimes when it's hot, with the faster balls, Babolat balls, what happened was the bounce was crazy high, but it almost got as fast as a slow hard court, slightly slower than that, but sort of not your traditional clay court speed with the fast balls and hot weather. Now with these slow balls, it's never going to be anything like that. It'll be always traditionally like clay. But if it's cold, it'll be extremely slow, extremely hard to finish the point, but also without much bounce because of the balls are slow. If you now moving it more into summer, those slow balls are going to become less of a factor and be more like it was with the faster balls. But it's net because the balls are slow, no matter what weather you play, it's never going to be like as fast and as high bouncing it was before. So it could be either extremely slow and you're losing that sort of top spin, high bounce, like when it's cold, like we saw last year in autumn, right? Where you get the double, the slowing down of the balls and the colder weather. This year, we're going to get the slowing down of the balls still, but faster weather. So that'll mean the court will still be slower than usual. I mean, mostly from the balls, right? But unlike last year, you'll be able to still get a decent amount of topspin and high bounce with those slower conditions. But no matter how hot it is, because of the ball, we're never going to get the speed and the bounce of what we did before. It's going to be slow anyway. It's going to be slower than it was before anyway, right? But by playing more into the summer, the difference could be a little bit less, where it's slower than those old faster balls, but the difference isn't as much anymore because it's hotter and it's more in summer. And then usually with these balls, you don't get the bounce, right? Takes out the topspin. It takes out Nadal's topspin, right? But now, even with the slower balls, because it's played in hotter conditions, more in summer, you're going to get quite a bit more topspin than you did last year. Not quite as much as you did from 2019 or before, but closer. So I think this will suit Nadal. He'll definitely, as by playing a bit later, get more topspin and get the ball higher and get the ball kicking up. Theme 2, right? But for him, I think he likes the slower conditions, right? Guys can't use his serve. They can't attack. It's hard for them to get past his defense. But the only negative thing by that is you lose the topspin. But by playing more in the summer, I think you keep it quite slow, just not quite as slow. And then now you add the topspin, so you get both. Whereas before on the old balls, you were choosing between like slower conditions and you're losing a lot of the topspin, or fast conditions where it's almost like a hard court, which he doesn't want, but you've got great topspin. I think under this condition, with the slower balls and hot weather together, what that'll do is it'll mean you don't need to worry about it being hot anymore because it can never be like a slow hard court because of the balls. But the question is, it's going to be slow either way. Is it going to be ridiculously slow and now you're not even getting the top spin? Or is it just going to be slower and now it's at least not ridiculously slower, but slower and it's fast enough to get that top spin at the same time as having the slower conditions? That would be ideal. And playing with these slower balls in hot weather would be ideal. Whereas last year was slow balls and slow conditions. So he got the slowness was great, but not the top spin. I think he gets the slowness, just not quite as slow, but now he gets the top spin almost back to where it was. But it'll be definitely be faster and higher bouncing because of this change, this postponement. So that's how the court's going to play. I've explained all the players and how they're affected, and the French Open and Wimbledon and all of that. And yeah, I've really explained all of that. But like I said, it's going to be a hard transition to the grass for all of those older players. The French Open is going to be more higher bouncing now and a bit quicker. So that suits Nadal, but all of these guys is going to be harder transitioning to Wimbledon. It's a shorter grass court season, longer clay court season. I suggested what they should do with the schedule. We'll see if they do that. But subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. Tomorrow I'll be back for a clay court season preview. So yes, I'll be previewing the whole clay season tomorrow on this channel. So subscribe for that, bell notification, thumbs up, Have a great day or night, and bye for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe. Thanks.